Well, the decision not to leave yesterday could have been a mistake because I'd left where I had that was quite nice, which I would have been fine in. It would have been perfectly weatherable of the rain last night, and I tentatively got everything out of there and then set up a nice little spot outside to just have a beautiful night's sleep out in the elements. And then the rain started, and I do have a bit of plastic, but that was that got me through for about an hour or two. Then the inside of the plastic was just as wet as the outside of the plastic was. But still, I was fine. I got little bits of sleep. And then I was kind of bearing through it. Like, water was seeping in different places. And I was fine. I was like, yeah, it's all right. It's just constant kind of rain. It's fine. I'm dry. Everything's dry. I'll get through it. And I was just thinking, I was like, it'll be all good. You live and you learn. And then there was a pipe, a stormwater pipe that was next to me, which I knew was there. And this is where I knew that I was being tested. Like, this was like a I actually just cracked up laughing. I got out of the plastic, laughed, and just abandoned ship, because the gigantic stormwater pipe that I was laying next to had a big hole in the top of it, and the surge from the rain started blowing shitloads of water out the top of it and just flooded literally inside where I was, all over me. And there was nothing left to do but laugh. And then I spent the remainder of the night being completely wet. All my blankets wet because I haven't got a sleeping bag, I haven't got a swag. But fine. Cold, but not death cold. In the back of my head, I'm terrified, because if this was winter and I was in, certain places, I'd be fucking dead. And I knew that. But I knew I'd get through, and my body just kind of went into it. And I kept asking myself, I'm like, is it all that bad being completely wet out in the cold? And I just kept getting to like, nah, it'll be all right. The sun will be out in the morning. And I guess what I'm trying to say in this is that was my version of my stormwater fucking drain overflowing, because I can build my own fucking shelter. Now, shelter, yeah, that'll take me a week. No, actually, that'll take me 2 hours. From there, it'll take me a week and it'll be quite livable. Give me a month and I'd call it a house or a home. Give me a year and it will be my perfect place. And I guess at that point, I reject your entire fucking system from top to bottom. And I say, fuck you, you've conned us. Now, they know they've conned us. The thing they don't know is when we're gonna fucking say it's enough. Now, for me, it's enough. I'm a visitor to your fucking bullshit. I know every single fucking timeline of how this shit emerged on this fucking place. Not just here, everywhere. The certain industries that emerged for certain reasons at certain times, basically to extend trade and to make certain people wealthy. Now, I'm not against making money. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm against this fictitious fucking bullshit system that is so off the fucking rails from its evolutional history that it doesn't make sense. And I'm not going to be alone in it. Now, to deny a person the ability to create their own fucking shelter from the elements, especially when that person's family has been there longer than you and your family, what exactly do you think you're fucking doing if you are participating in that? If you work in insurance, if you work in PR and advertising, if you work in IT, if you work in anything that provides fucking fodder to this fucking system, then what are you fucking doing here? You are doing exactly what a lot of you claim to be so fucking concerned with. Now, depending on how dark your skin is, which, as I've said, I'll spend a fucking month or two up north in Western Australia and I'll get as dark as fucking most of the fellas walking around fucking Perth. I suppose the one difference is that because of my lineage, because of my history, my family history, my depth of understanding of a physical world is a lot larger. I've had a bigger job to do to understand all of that. There is a wonderfulness to traditional culture, to living with the elements. It's something that I strive for. And to be honest, am always on the fucking line to nicking off and never fucking coming back. And that's what's been, it's that mentality that gets labelled to me that I'm mentally ill or that I'm fucking strange. You can't have it both fucking ways. You give me a fucking year where I don't have to defend the very basic foundations that I know are underneath me to put me into slavery, which is what you are doing continuously. This fucking socialist bullshit, all tied into systems that didn't exist when we fucking came here. They're not necessary. I think particularly the English descendants and Scottish, the United Kingdom descendants here in Australia, we need to think long and fucking hard about what we have fucking allowed to happen to our fucking colony, and who the fuck is continuously labeling us with all the atrocities under the sun, whilst in modern times, for far more frivolous means and far more short-sighted in their fucking future ambitions, are using us to our historical wrongs to usher in a digital fucking hell on this land. And I guess I'm just fucking sick of it. My Scottish heritage, we have a Highlander fucking heritage of fucking people going up and defending against the English, I will have you say. But then on the English side, I've got seafaring journeys and organisation and things like that. And also a rich history of off the land kind of things. A deep history of connection to the land. But the main difference is we've got a long, written down history of all types of things, of building, of religion, of culture, of law. And my generation has been continuously bombarded with things that are trying to destroy that. Mostly coming from a dispossessed people that have been mistreated. But the one thing I can say, they were mistreated in pursuit of something better. And I think it was because of this mentality. At any fucking point, if I change my attention from documentation and for preparation for a long, drawn-out opposition to what I see going on in front of me all the time, if I turn that to the same methods that are being used upon me, we're going to be in hell. Most places I see, most companies, most anything, if I start getting professional and if I start using sabotage like it has been used against me, and discrediting and confusion and division against my own people, and narrow down to exactly who are my own people, and getting down to a very small group and saying no, not you, just these ones, then where are we going to be? And so what we have is an individual that has tirelessly documented this phenomenon, has very tentatively taken steps backwards in order to adequately appease those that are doing it. And the individuals that are continuously doing this have nothing to say except continuing to push us into systems that are deliberately designed to disable us and to destroy our culture. And there's one thing you need to fucking understand about the fucking English people. We have all the organisation that allowed us to do all the wonderful things, which is why they were the largest empire on earth just a little while ago. But we also can live as rough and as fucking back to nature as any fucking people on earth, because England is a fucking terrible cold place, and it's probably that factor It was the combination of the Roman organizational structure adopted by the Greeks, adopted by the Egyptians, thrown into England. Germany was a little bit too far, as it seems, because they went a bit fucking insane with this same combination. Although, you know, we're on the foot to forgive them. But England seemed to be the sweet spot. It was cold enough, it was shit enough, it was wet enough, it was miserable enough, in combination with that organisational structure and their seafaring knowledge that came from the northern Scandinavian countries that made us unstoppable. Combine that with horses and you're fucked. Now, I'd say right now is the time to open those schools, to open those universities, to open those classrooms that turn your son into that, a gentleman, not a fucking whatever this fucking current government is pumping out. And if the mainland of Australia doesn't want to listen to that, then the closest analogue to England in Australia, which is right smack bang here, is the perfect location. For the largest school of re-education, voluntary, you don't have to fucking do it. If you want your kid to fucking be cutting his dick off, fucking running around and selling his fucking soul to fucking China for a fucking OnlyFans subscription, then please continue to fucking send them to the public schools that this fucking current fucking Labor Party government does. But if you'd like to reconnect your child to the traditional culture that they come from, the whole culture from top to bottom, just like the Aboriginal culture, except with more books and more people with pointy hats, I guess, and a hell of a lot colder, and a hell of a lot more horses, and a hell of a lot more fucking ocean passages under our belt. We celebrate their culture. I do, a massive amount. I would love nothing better than to sit here with a group of elders of Aboriginal descent from Tasmania and understand exactly how they lived here. And compared to this electronic matrix within digital casino world that is attempting to be pushed in now, my sailing school, gentleman school, horse school for English people seems to be the lesser of two evils in that arrangement, in that bargain that will inevitably come. The utopia of an Aboriginal homeland always was, whatever that they say, is fiction contrived by our enemies in order to destroy our culture and interchange it with their own. And their own runs on this shit. And you know what I've considered to be the largest factor to do, and I think I've spoken about it before, the largest factor of what has created this prison colony, take two, far worse. Far worse. You've got to kind of tie in cultural inflation. So yeah, everyone had a standard of living that was lower, and so if you were a convict, it was pretty miserable. It would be pretty miserable compared to today's standards. But when you balance all the books, a worker, just a normal 9-to-5 worker, maybe minimum wage or something like that, is far worse off in this country than a convict was. And weirdly, a convict in this country is actually looked after pretty fucking well. Now that is the fucking makings of bullshit land of hell. And it wasn't what made the British Empire great. It is an infiltration by communist, socialist ideals that will betray the front soldiers of their conquest as soon as they can and replace them with a never-ending line of obedient slaves. So yeah, I don't know about the fucking mainland. I'm still hesitant because I haven't got it in writing that I'm not going to be disrupted by the West Australian government. If I don't get that in writing, I'm not coming back. And that's concerning for lots of reasons. There's a woman there I love. She is a child. I was going to be in a relationship with. That's the second time the Western Australian government has interfered with that type of arrangement to appease one woman who's married again, whose family was brought here. Now, I don't want to get in the fucking Irish fucking punching fucking down mode. But what has been done to me there makes me look at Ireland, especially that southern part, a whole lot worse than it did when I fucking met her. I was proud to say I had Irish children. I was proud to say I had Irish children. Now, not so much. Because you can't constantly play the victim and then go to someone else's land, pull the same shit that you've said's happened to you whilst playing the victim. It doesn't look good. We didn't come here and conquer, and we didn't conquer the whole fucking world almost by being victims. And so in this moment now, we're not going to be victims. We're going to show you again how we did what we did. And we're going to start immediately, I'm hoping. How many English families sitting there in their same version of that fucking communist socialist hell that replaces comfort with capacity or with competence. I would far rather be a competent person that's slightly uncomfortable than the most comfortable fucking idiot on earth, which is all that we are pumping out in our schools. Fictitious degrees and everything you can imagine. Little boxes to put your children in so that they can be put on a shelf by China. Most of it completely unnecessary for a healthy, happy life. Most of the online world, and I've said this tons of times before, is just a bad version of the real world, and it continues to make the real world worse because the individuals in the real world that speak up and say these things are pushed out by the appeasing politicians that are paid by the digital companies, by the monstrous industrial system of insurance, of finance, of sin. In order to not pull down the structure that is being built around us. And what I was going to say, the largest thing, it's iron. And that's why Western Australia is the fucking tippity top of the shit pile to do with this, because it's digging the shit out of the fucking ground every day. There aren't a lot of things that iron isn't responsible for. The agricultural revolution, that the plough, that's why we have a population problem. That's also why we have a complete destruction of agricultural land, because of that one tool amplified our ability to destroy soil and to create people. The perfect combination. Hey, let's make more people and destroy the soil at the same time. That was our suicide. Not mine, not the British Empire. Humanity's suicide was that. You throw in that barbed wire, you throw in that iron bars, you throw in that tanks, you throw in that steel ships, you throw in that guns, you throw in every wires, even things like nails and screws have limited our building capacity and have made us lazy. Iron is the shortcut to life and to empires. Iron destroys empires every single time. And the craziest thing that I was thinking, iron rusts, it disappears. So how do we know that these empires of old that didn't have iron, classically, how did they do it? They didn't have iron. They did it because they didn't have iron. The Egyptians built Egypt because they weren't scourged with the shortcut mentality of iron. How do I know? I just know. You can either trust me or you can not trust me. But any empire that did use iron, I'm guessing, went down this same route, very predictable route, because they're very simple innovations. Nothing is new under the sun. And with these simple innovations, we destroy ourselves in a very short order. It's just like globally speaking, geographically speaking. No one talks of Egypt conquering. It was conquered repeatedly and destroyed repeatedly by Iron Age cultures. We talk of iron as if it was a improvement on the world, and I don't think it was. If you ask the people in Auschwitz, was iron a good thing? No. If you ask the people that have been killed by guns, was iron a good thing? No, it wasn't. We thought we'd make swords that last longer, so then we can fight different. We don't have, symbolic battles with weapons that might last one battle. We have war. And based on the destruction I've seen just in the last 20 years of war, not even here, war just in the periphery, has destroyed my culture in 20 years, significantly and provably. So how do they build those wonderful places like Egypt? With war going on? They didn't. They were at peace because they didn't have iron. Now, if we find somewhere in there that iron somehow absorbed in the body creates some type of circumstance for some type of parasite or something to grow, and this is all theoretical, I don't know any of this scientifically, but then that would be a double whammy. Or if we see that our iron structures and devices we're using pick up some type of electromagnetic fucking frequencies and then resonate them in areas that are right next to us. Again, I don't know, just theoretical, but this would just add on to the already horrific things that iron has allowed us to do. I'd say the recipe right now, and I'm going to put this right at the end so that only the really, cautious, careful people that are listening to all options on the table will get this message. But the only way to win this in the long term is to prepare a place free from iron, somewhere out of the way with enough things, find it wherever it is, and that's what I'm going to be doing. Start building it, and then build one hell of a fucking magnetic weapon to destroy the other cultures that use iron, and then send all that iron to the bottom of the ocean. Because there's no benefit. If someone offered me right now all the gold in the world and iron had to remain, and then they said you can have 2 apples and all the iron will be removed, like that, I'd take the apples every fucking day of the week, and I'd remove every single piece of steel, iron that has ever been created. Now that is a theory to behold, isn't it? Imagine those types of bargains. How strong exactly would the magnetic force need to be to remove every single piece of surface dwelling iron and rip it from wherever it is? I don't know, that's a job for a physicist. But I wonder if that is the game, the long game. They'll use iron, they'll do the shortcut, they'll use iron, and then we'll use our magnet. And entire civilizations will be laid to waste. I'm talking every bit of iron in this fucking thing here, in this wall, the reinforcements, people's earrings, just definitely crazy to think about. But yeah, a school in Tasmania to remember how to be a gentleman. An entire island devoted to chivalry and seamanship and manners. Yeah. No one's gonna fuck with that.